Yeah. Well, very sad time. Yes. Well, we'll move forward again to Sierra Madre. We're back in Sierra Madre again. So you're now married. You're now coming back to the United States. Where do you settle? You have a new wife.
Well, I didn't realize it at that time because my dad answered no to the 27th and 28th question. And all the ones that answered no to those questions were sent to Turtle Lake. And we were due to be transferred to Turtle Lake. But my mother was, I don't know how many months or not, but she couldn't be moved because of her pregnancy. So we missed the window of opportunity or whatever to go to Turtle Lake. And good thing too, because our life would have been changed quite a bit if we went to Turtle Lake, and because most of the people in Turtle Lake were transported back to Japan. Some of them, my sister-in-law, she went back to Japan in 1946 after the war. She was transported back to Japan. So there were a lot of people, I don't know how many, made it back to Japan in the late 50s and 60s, because some of them, well, my sister-in-law came back to Japan, United States from Japan, but I don't know how many came back, actually. Some of them probably stayed in Japan after they were transported back to Japan, and our family might have been in the same boat, same situation where we have no opportunity to come back.
To clarify something, your father was at Tule Lake already?
No,
Oh,
we never went.
Okay.
Our family never went.
So they were preparing to ship you,
We
everybody.
would have
Okay.
gone in 43, I think. A lot of people went to the lake.
Right.
And I don't know whether you seen the issue of Life magazine. They had was 10 pages about the Turtle Lake, how the situation was in Turtle Lake. It was like being in Japan, because some Kibes took over the running of the camp, and they run it like it was in Japan, a part of Japan. Everybody gets up in the morning and do exercise and that sort of thing. And Life magazine story was kind of antagonistic because how Japanese were behaving in the camp. They show the how the Life magazine, the photo spread.
Right, the big photos,
Yeah.
yes.
And they
spreads.
had a whole thing on display. So, and when I didn't find out that prisoner, I should say prisoner, but the internee exchange was back, even continuing to 46. Because we were in Sierra Madre then, war was over more than a year ago, and yet they were sending people back to Japan. I guess this questionnaire had a lot of, I don't know, a lot of weight as to how people internally felt. Yeah.
When did your father pass away? What year?
In 1980, 3 or 4.
Okay.
He was 86 when he passed away, so.
So when you were married, you're now out of the army. You come back to the United States. You come back where?
Since the apartment owner in Sierra Madre says no, I went to Pasadena,
Okay.
and we rented the apartment. And there were quite a few Japanese in that apartment complex. So we fitted in just like
Okay.
old timers.
Uh-huh. So then you lived there for a while. When did you eventually move to Monrovia? You said you lived in Monrovia, right?
Monrovia was 1960, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, almost 50 years.
Yeah. We were to rent a house and moved to Monrovia, and then moved again, and when we bought a house in Monrovia.
So and then you're working for the same engineering firm.
Yeah, I was working for the company that was located in Monrovia, so I could be close by in case she needed me, and lunchtime I used to go home,
Uh-huh.
have lunch, yeah.
And we bought a house. At the time, his parents was retired, so we had 2 houses on the lot. So since then, same year, they moved into back house, and until then.
Okay. Very nice.
So I stayed in Monrovia all the time.
What kind of, do you practice any traditions, Japanese traditions at all that you can think of?
My kids went to Japanese school
Okay.
in Pasadena. They didn't like it, but
How do they view themselves? Do they view themselves as being Japanese American, American,
yeah,
nothing?
I don't think their Japanese ties were not very strong, I would say.
Well, your son went to judo here, right?
Yeah, he took judo, and they went to Japanese school, and she and I belong to Nishi Honganji in Japanese town, but didn't show or have any inclination to as a Japanese. Although my daughter, in her thesis in the college, was interested in the evacuation. But that was something unusual, I guess. So she decided to do that. Other than that, they didn't show much of a inclination to a Japanese connection. All her friends in school was Hakujin, Of course, there was not too many Japanese population in Monrovia. So,
Your children are they married and have children?
yes, they have
Your
Oh,
son?
my daughter has two sons,
Okay.
and my son has two, and they they're regular American as a apple pie.
Did your son and daughter marry Japanese American, or did they marry out another
My
ethnic?
son married a Japanese American Sansei girl,
Okay.
but my daughter married Hakujin. Now, and she got divorced, and now she's married to a Japanese Sansei.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was at the time that your daughter was going around with the Hagajin guy, what was your feeling about that?
Well, I didn't ask any question. Were there one time one was my dated black guy, and my son took to me, "Did you know that Leah is dating the black guy?" He said, "I don't know, but it's her business, not mine." And she was very active in school, and most of friends and everything were Hakujin, because there was very few Japanese in Monrovia.
Right, right. Yeah, that's very true. What is the happiest moment in your life?
My happiest moments? I don't know. Probably not so much as a moment, but my life been pretty good, I think. I married a pretty wife here, and she took very good care of me. So uh,
Life has been good.
it's an enjoyable life. A whole life was enjoyable, and I can't think of any particular time as happiest of my life. I guess I should say the day that I got married in Japan, but I don't know. This Bukkyokai marriage is not something that very uh, it's a joyful moment, but you don't jump up and down like here in the United States when you get married. It's a big deal, but
So do you think that for your whole life now, that you balanced your life? Because you've lived in Japan for a while and you lived in the United States, so you know Japanese style, I guess, the Japanese way of living. So do you find yourself pretty balanced that way then?
pretty what?
Pretty balanced?
I would think so. Well, probably my life, my marriage is probably balanced between American style and Japanese style. Because, of course, for hers, we go from one to the other and back and forth. And we can't say that we are American family or Japanese family, because in either case, Japanese will say, "Hey, you're American style," and Hakujin will say, "You're Japanese style." So we did a more or less balance between the two culture, because in some respects she's still Japanese. Her thinking in social life I think she thinks in Japan culture. So a lot of things is you would think, hey, we don't need to do that way or that far. Yet it's a natural to her. And a lot of time I would go to friends socializing. He says, she's shaking her head because friends are all American style, see. And Japanese, that's not kosher to in that regard. And she has hard time comprehending that behavior. But to them, it's American way. They only know American.
Right.
And you go to picnic, and it's all American style or American Hawaiian style, not pure Japanese. So she takes Japanese stuff to a picnic, and they ask her, bring a certain thing that's just Japanese, and because they don't know how to cook it. Yeah. So she doesn't know how to cook the American way too well. So I guess it's a balance between American and the Japanese in our marriage style.
Okay, very good. As you mentioned before, you belong to the San Gabriel Valley Japanese Community
Senior
Center.
club, yeah.
Senior club. Do you belong to any other Japanese American?
No.
Nothing else? Nothing else. Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
I had a question. When your father was able to get the job as the manager again at the nursery, right? Your father, did the family that owned the nursery, was that a Hakujin family?
No, Nihonjin.
Oh, okay. So that was a Nihonjin
Yeah,
family.
he named the owner Uematsu.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know when he started the nursery business, but my father, I guess in 1935 or so, when he came back to the United States, that was the job that he got at the nursery. So he's been there nursery since about 35 or 36, or all the way to 64 or something. All properties, tax going up, so they sold the Shiramaju's property and moved to Chino. And the senior Uematsu was dead by then, but his son took over the business, and he had a nursery sold in Shiramaju and went to Chino, and I don't know when he sold the business in Chino, but my father retired in 64 from the nursery business. So he worked, I guess, pretty nearly 30 years at the nursery.
Do you happen to know what your father, how he felt about his life here in this country? Do you happen to know?
Well, he hasn't talked very much, but I guess it was hardship in the trying to accumulate the fortune that he was looking for.
Right.
And he moved, he changed the job quite a bit. he was a railroad man. I don't know how long, but then he went to work for Japanese doctor in Ogden, Utah. And then last he was a farmer. All trade that, especially farming, was pretty taxing labor, you know. So I don't know how he got along in the working for a doctor, but he was all around help in the hospital. My wife, my mother worked at the hospital, at the same doctor too, and well, East Say was very quiet about their life, and he didn't speak very much about his work that he did.
So you don't know whether he had any bitterness or anything because of the
No.
war or anything?
I'm sure he was not bitter because if it's bitter, he'd probably talk about it. But bitterness never came out of him as far as life in the United States was concerned. It was, and since he talked about the good time, I'm sure that there was a hard work working for the all these various job. Okay. He laughingly talk about his driving taxi for a living, and he doesn't speak very much about taxi business except funny thing that happened to him once in a while. And
He drove a taxi in Los Angeles?
no, Ogden.
Oh, in Ogden, okay. That must have been pretty small. Ogden must have been pretty small at that time.
A lot of Japanese were in state of Utah and Colorado and Idaho and Montana. Most of Japanese, I guess, went to this area because of the railroad work. And it's, I guess, a lot of them came to California for truck farming, and I guess that was later after they work on the railroad and mine in Idaho and Utah and Wyoming area. Because a lot of Japanese lived in the East San Gabriel Valley, right around here. They were all farming,
Right, there was a lot of farmers here.
farming land
Right.
from all the way into Los Angeles. I guess the places east of Laverne and points east were mostly orchard, I guess.
Do you ever talk to anybody that lived here at that time that you know any stories about?
No. Most people that lived in the city down here, Waldman Park and so on, they were always a little shrimp. And there was Mr. Morimoto. I guess he lived in Monrovia a long time. He lived to be over 100, and he showed me a plaque from the President of the United States. Congratulate him for living over 100 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm sure people like him had an interesting story to tell about the early pioneer days in this Sarajevo Valley. And I knew a fellow that used to live in Imperial Valley, El Centro. That was another farming community for Japanese.
Right.
And he was a judo instructor here one time, by the way, Mr. Kitamura. And I'm sure he has interesting stories to tell about the Imperial Valley, how the Japanese farming life was like in those days.
Right.
But all gone now, so yeah.
That's why this is very important, that we do this documentation now.
Yeah, well, if you were started this project back 20 years ago, you'd have had a lot of interesting stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were in Sierra Madre and you were finishing, it was probably middle schoolish, right? Before you went to Pasadena City College, you finished school.
Yeah, I went to middle school in the Pasadena school system.
Oh, so you were in the Pasadena school system, but you were living in Sierra Madre?
I was
then?
in Sierra Madre.
Oh, okay. So were most of your friends then Hakujin, or was there still a lot of Japanese Americans in the area?
I was the only Japanese in the middle school.
Oh, you were the only Japanese student in the
There
whole
were
middle
no
school?
Japanese.
Wow. So did people treat you differently because you were the one Japanese kid? Or
I
they
don't
asked?
think so. Like I said, I never myself faced any discrimination or anything like that from anybody.
That's it. So it was mostly just those couple instances with your family.
Yeah,
or
it's
that
people that had money to lose or some people like those that are Japanese discrimination against Japanese people, you know. Because my relation with the students in both school were very smooth. No, nothing. Matter of fact, there was an incident in the school bus in 41. After Pearl Harbor Day, my classmate in the school bus said something. Of course, I don't know what he said because I don't know English that well, but he said something derogatory about this attack on Pearl Harbor. There's a busload of other students shut him down. They just shut up, be quiet. And they were defending me. That was day after Pearl Harbor Day, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
So in the same vein, I was, I think, treated pretty well because Love Shimpo had some story about Japanese Issei and Nisei, I guess, or mistreated. People say something bad about them. And I was able to shed any of that because nothing came my way. Yeah,
I see. That's good that your friends had your back.
yeah, Manhattan Beach, I was only, there was only 2 Japanese in Manhattan Beach. It was from grammar school, middle school and high school, all in one place, and nobody ever accosted me about the discrimination.
Okay.
And we were right near the beach there.
Yeah. Wow. I think I don't have any more questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
This will conclude the interview.
Yeah.
Well, let's Do you have anything that you want to add?
Not really. I was wondering about this project that you had going and how many from senior center consented to interview or not.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, Japanese are very private, so there are not too many.
Yeah. Or it's hard to find people who who came during the period right after. A lot of Japanese Americans, like